Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Going the Distance. This is episode 82. Can you believe we've done 82 episodes? I can't, but I want to welcome the new members who are just joining me for the first time, and I want to welcome back the members who have been joining me from the beginning. Your support is greatly appreciated. So before we get started, hit that thumbs up button and like this video. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode. That really helps my channel and it pushes it out for other people to see. And share this video with other people so it can get out even more. So we've got some stuff to get into. We've got some NBA news. We've got some NFL news. We're going to talk about Wimbledon. We're going to talk about golf. We're going to start talking about Formula One and the new Formula One movie. And we've got the music segment, the what we're listening to and what songs and albums we're listening to. So let's jump into it. So to start out with, we're going to talk about Lonzo Ball. The Bulls have traded Lonzo Ball to the Cavaliers for Isaac Okoro. I know I'm not saying those names right, but Lonzo Ball was a first round draft pick or first round second overall pick in 2017 in the NBA draft. He was drafted to the Lakers because back then his dad, LeVar Ball, was out making the rounds like his son should have been doing, but, he was being a dad manager, I think. And, that's not good for him because even though the dad is a former NBA player, he's got a big mouth. And in my opinion, he hurt his son's careers instead of helped him. So he came out and he said, the dad came out and said, if my boy's not drafted to the Lakers, then he shouldn't be drafted at all. Well, what happened? In 2017, Lonzo was the first round, second overall pick to the LA Lakers. He played for UCLA in college. He spent from 2017 to 2019 with the Lakers, and then he got traded to the New Orleans Pelicans, which was all the way across the country. Spent from 2019 to 2021 with the Pelicans. And then the Pelicans traded him to the Bulls, where he spent the last 4 seasons and hadn't really done much because he's been injured. His ankle, his hand, stuff like that. So now the Bulls are done with him and traded him to the Cavs. Well, could this be? And then, of course, you've got Daddy out there. Well, this is the missing piece that y'all need to make this a winning team. We'll see. It's off season. Nothing's really been set in stone. But, Lonzo was NBA All-Rookie second team in 2018. He was the NBA Summer League MVP in 17. He's won awards and he's good. But the dad needs to stay out of his career because he's hurting him instead of helping him. And that's why he gets bounced around, because you get Lonzo Ball, you get Daddy to go with you. So you don't want that type of press on you. But we'll be paying attention to the Cavaliers and see how Lonzo does. See if he can stay healthy and see if they can make a run next year. We'll see. Like I said, it's off season. So we're still celebrating the Oklahoma City Thunder NBA Finals win because they're the champs. So we'll go from there. Anyway, moving on. The New York Knicks, if you guys remember back before the NBA Finals started, the Knicks fired their head coach after they were eliminated by the Pacers, who eventually went on to the finals to play the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Knicks fired their head coach after that loss, and they have announced that they're hiring 2-time Coach of the Year, Mike Brown. So his Coach of the Years were in 2009 and 2023. And the 2009 is when he was with the Cavaliers, and 2023 is when he was with the Sacramento Kings. So they got him from the Sacramento Kings. They interviewed him, pulled him, liked him, got him. But he's been around. So, in my opinion, he's a two-time coach of the year, but in my opinion, he's like somebody like a Todd Bowles. He's a better coordinator or assistant coach than he is head coach, because where he's been a head coach, they hadn't really had the stuff going like when he's head coach. But I have to say, Todd Bowles has surprised me in the NFL. And we'll get to Todd because I've got some Todd Bowles news to get into. But so I'll get into my Todd Bowles talk here in a minute. But that was all for NBA news. So now let's move into some football news. Darren Waller, who played for the New York Giants, had been around. He was with the Raiders, and then got unhappy with the Raiders, and then got traded to the Giants. Well, then he retired. Injuries, all that type of stuff. Now he wants to unretire. So he unretired. Thought he was going back to the Giants. The Giants traded him to the Dolphins. Well, the Dolphins have been doing some trading too, because the Dolphins traded Jalen Ramsey to the Steelers for Micah Fitzpatrick and Jonnu Smith. So, the Dolphins are going to be stacked this year, and they're trying to make a good run. But you've got the Bills, as that brick wall. You can be good, and then you play the Bills. And I think this year, the Patriots are going to be somebody to look out for with Mike Vrabel as head coach. But I'm getting a little beside myself because I just did two stories in one here. Darren Waller has now been traded to the Dolphins. So now the Dolphins have Waller. They have Micah Fitzpatrick. They've still got the Cheetah in Tyreek Hill. They've got the Penguin in Jalen Waddle. So, they've got the players. But these players that they have, like Tyreek Hill, I would even say somebody like a Penguin. I just said his name, but it's escaping me now. These players had big egos. Jalen Waddle. That's who I was thinking of. Penguin, Jalen Waddle. They have these big egos. So, that's the only thing stopping them. And then you've got the addition of Tua, who's had concussions and not as versatile as he used to be, because now everybody's looking at him like, oh my gosh, is he, his next hit could be his last. Well, it could be. But, he needs, like I said last season, after those concussions, he needs to retire. But will he? No. Not until something big happens. But, we'll see. But, like I said, Jalen Ramsey was traded to the Steelers for Micah Fitzpatrick and Jonnu Smith. But here's the kicker. Jalen Ramsey, the Steelers are going to give him a $1.5 million raise. He's good, but he's not that good. He was with the Jacksonville Jaguars, and he did good, but he had that big head. And then I believe they traded him he got suspended for personal reasons. And then he got traded to Atlanta, where he spent some time. He did fine in Atlanta. He did okay, but not great. And then then Atlanta trades him to the Dolphins. Well, then he plays for the Dolphins for a few years, and now he's got the Steelers, and the Steelers are giving him a $1.5 million raise. But the Steelers are trying to get built to win too. When you've got Ramsey, you've got DK Metcalf, and now you've signed that old man Aaron Rodgers. So You think you're going to get something, but you're not going to get anything. But here's what I think. You get these players like DK Metcalf, Jalen Ramsey. What do you guys want to bet? All this is what Aaron Rodgers had behind the scenes. All this has Aaron Rodgers written all over it. Because, think about this. When he was with the Jets, he needed players from Green Bay that he wanted to, that he talked trash about to sign with the Jets, like Devontae Adams. That's what I was trying to think of. Robert Woods was up there. He played with Aaron up in Green Bay. So I think they're not reporting this, but I'm almost convinced that all these players that are signing with the Pittsburgh Steelers are all because of Aaron Rodgers. And Aaron's like, I want them on this team. We're going to try to make a run this year, but I don't need this. And this is my opinion. I don't need this to be Mike Tomlin's demise. And if this is Mike Tomlin's demise, it's Aaron Rodgers' fault. Because Aaron does this everywhere he goes. Think about it. He was in Green Bay. He played under Mike McCarthy. McCarthy gets fired. Why Aaron's the starter? McCarthy gets fired and they get Matt LaFleur. The Jets. He plays with the Jets for 2 seasons. And in those 2 seasons, Robert Saleh gets fired. After being there for years and did great for the Jets, Robert Saleh gets fired. And they bring in Aaron Glenn as new head coach after having their interim head coach, who then initially moved on. But beside the point. The point is, wherever Aaron goes, trouble and chaos follows. So he's leaving a string of head coaches behind him. Don't let Mike Tomlin be the next one, Pittsburgh. I don't like the team, but Tomlin's been good for you guys. So do not let Aaron Rodgers be Mike Tomlin's demise or Jalen Ramsey. Don't let Aaron Rodgers bring these good players like DK Metcalf down, because he will do that. He'll get out there, something won't go his way, he'll get mad, and he'll throw a hissy fit, like always. But he's in the right spot because he said this was going to be his last year. I don't see Pittsburgh going real far this year. See them maybe winning 8, maybe 9 games. They'll have a winning record. And a lot of these wins, what do you want to bet? A lot of these wins they're going to have are going to be because Aaron throws a hissy fit. Just saying. But moving on, now that we've gotten that trash out of the way, the NFL has suspended former Baltimore Ravens kicker Justin Tucker 10 games for the personal conduct policy. Now, I'm not going to get into the conduct policy because I know kids are watching, and a lot of these accusations against Justin Tucker are pretty horrendous. So you guys can go look at it. He was accused of stuff. Not, like I said, not going to get into it, but he's been accused, and Baltimore cut ties with him. And now the NFL has suspended him 10 games. Whenever he signs with another team, he won't play for the first 10 weeks. And in my opinion, no team needs to pick him up because of these allegations and how horrendous they are. I used to be a fan of you, Justin Tucker, and you used to be a quality kicker. And then last season, all this came out, and you tanked. I had you in my fantasy league, and you did nothing for me. You rode my bench in fantasy more than you started, which was fine because I had Lamar Jackson as my quarterback. But still, I shouldn't have to rely on Lamar Jackson. I should have been able to be like, you know what? I'm going to put you in there too, and we're going to do this together instead of Lamar carrying me. But, it is what it is. And, you made your bed, so now you got to live with the consequences. Hate it for you. Moving on, The Seahawks have signed Shaq Griffin to a 1-year, $3 million deal. Now, Shaq Griffin has played for Seattle in the past, and he was good. It was him and his brother who played for the Seahawks. And one of them, I can't remember which one, but one of them, I want to say it was Shaq, is missing a hand. And still did good. Still, was able to catch the ball and, go with it. So I'm excited to see Shaq back in the with the Seahawks, and let's see what they can do. Even though, again, we've got Sam Darnold as the quarterback for Seattle. Why? Beats me. But, like I've said in multiple weeks, we'll see what Sam Darnold has. And I know another week, another Sam Darnold headline. Getting kind of sick of reporting on him. But gotta report on him. So, we'll see how Seattle does. Shaq Griffin back. Sam Darnold, second-year coach. We'll see. Moving on, I said I had some Todd Bowles news. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have signed head coach Todd Bowles and their GM to multi-year deals. Now, how many years and how much money, I'm not sure. It wasn't reported. But as I've said, in the past, Todd Bowles has been a better coordinator than he was head coach. And I know this because when he was with the Jets, he was there for like 3 seasons and did terrible all 3 seasons. And I thought, okay, first year, cut him some slack. I mean, it's his first year as a coach. So we're going to let it slide. That first year is a learning year. Year 2 came around, you got the players. You got the team you needed. You got the staff you needed. You couldn't get it done with the Jets. Then you go off to Tampa Bay and work under Bruce Arians, who was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And then you go win a Super Bowl under Bruce Arians. Congratulations. Bruce retires, moves to the front office of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and gives you the keys to the kingdom, per se. And says, here you go, Todd. Run with it. Well, I have to say, first couple years I wasn't sold on you, Todd. But I don't want to say this and jinx it, but you're proving me wrong and you're doing good. In your, I believe it's 3rd year or 4th year as the Tampa Bay head coach. You've got Chris Godwin. You've signed Baker Mayfield, which in my opinion was the best signing to replace Tom Brady as quarterback in Tampa. And then you've got Mike Evans, who is kind of wishy-washy at times. But when he's on, and you can throw him the ball and he'll be right there. I know I've got some people out there watching that aren't big Mike Evans fans, and I'm not a huge Mike Evans fan. But like I said, when he's on, and he can just, And Baker, I think, has found his home. So, congratulations to Todd and the GM on y'all's extensions. Can't wait to see what Tampa does next year. And, it's July, so this is, y'all, I just need to say this. It's exciting because this is the last full month without football. Starting next month, we have preseason football because next month is August, and we get preseason football in August. So, let's go. Have to report on some sad news today. Diego Jota, who was the Liverpool soccer player, he was a forward. I'm sorry, y'all. Got a little choked up there. He passed away this morning at the age of 28 in a car accident in Spain. Him and his brother both passed away. His brother was 25 years old. They said he just got married 10 days ago. and now he's passed away. I saw it early this morning on the news, and all of Liverpool and all of England is shocked. He had just gotten married. He was traveling. He was over in Spain. He was going to practice over there, and they said he had surgery not too long ago. And the doctors advised him not to fly right before the accident happened. And it was pretty tragic, y'all, because from what I read, his car caught fire. And back in 2013, I believe that's when it was, that's how Paul Walker died. The actor Paul Walker, that's how he died. He died in California when his car caught fire. But again, Paul was going fast. Diego was probably going top speed like Paul was. And, I don't know what it is about these celebrities and driving fast cars. Diego was in a Lamborghini. They said he passed away at the scene. Him and his brother both. And it's just a waste. My heart goes out to his family. My thoughts and prayers go out to his family. If I get any more news on this situation, I'll report it. But moving on to golf, we have South African Alric Pereira wins the Rocket Classic. I believe it was at 8 under. So that was his first win in the PGA. So congratulations to you. We will keep tabs on you, and we'll report on golf next week. Moving on to something I'm really excited about, Formula One. I watched my first full Formula One race over the weekend, and Landon Norris wins the Austria Grand Prix, his third win of the season. Lewis Hamilton comes in fourth, and Lewis Hamilton is one of the most winningest drivers in Formula One. He's won 7 championships, so he's like the Jimmy Johnson of Formula One. And their next race is the Qatar Airways British Grand Prix, July 6th. So that is on Sunday at 10 a.m. on ESPN2, and it's at 10 a.m. because they're racing in Qatar. So this is going to be like a night race, I'm pretty sure. So make sure to tune into that. But you guys might be asking, Peter, why are you reporting on Formula One now? I'm glad you guys asked this, because I have now become a Formula One fan after seeing the Formula One movie with Brad Pitt. Y'all, it opened on Friday of last week. I went and saw it Friday, and then I went and saw it on Tuesday. It is now my top sports movie. Yes, I know. For years, my top movie has been Remember the Titans. And now I have to say Remember the Titans probably comes in second now. But Formula One is first, and now, I kind of have to see what comes after that, because then you've got Moneyball with Brad Pitt, who was also in Formula One. You've got all these other good sports movies, but Formula One is a fantastic, action-packed, well-casted, cinematized movie. It was like you were really sitting in the car. You really felt what these drivers were going through in the car. You could really see how it was well thought out. And it was from the same directors who did Top Gun Maverick. So if you saw Top Gun Maverick and you saw the action, the adventure, the edge of your seat, nail biting, aircraft scenes. It was the same way in the car. You're sitting on the edge of your seat. I caught myself going, yes, during these races and just really getting into it like I was in the I was on the track. I was at the Grand Prix of the movie. Brad Pitt did amazing. His co-stars did amazing. And I've actually been reading where they're already in talks of a Formula One sequel, which is funny because they're trying to bring Days of Thunder, which was a Tom Cruise movie, in a sequel. So now I'm hearing where... Now, follow me on this. Days of Thunder with Tom Cruise, F1 with Brad Pitt. But F1 was directed by Joe Kosinski and Jerry Bruckheimer, who also did Top Gun Maverick. And Bruckheimer did Top Gun. So the rumor is F1 is going to get a sequel and try to bring Days of Thunder in with it as a crossover movie. Now, I don't know how they're going to do this, but I highly recommend F1. Action, adventure, edge of your seat, nonstop, heart-pounding, just awesomeness. Brad Pitt deserves every award for this movie. Jerry Bruckheimer and Joe Kosinski deserve every award for this movie. And you better believe when it comes out on video, I'm going to be getting it. When it comes to streaming, I'm going to be watching it because this is my new favorite sports movie. And it made a Formula One racing fan out of me. So go check it out. If you've already seen the movie, drop in the comments what you think of it. But that was all for sporting news. So now we're going to move into some music news. So Papa Roach released their new single, Brain Dead, this week. It's the second single off their 12th upcoming album. They're still working on it. They've released 2 singles. And Brain Dead is the second one. It's great. It's typical Papa Roach. And I say go check it out. Because if you're a hard rock, nu metal fan, you're going to like it. But speaking of Papa Roach, that brings us to the Who We're Listening To segment. And it would be Papa Roach that we're listening to. And I know it's a weird name, Papa Roach. And how did they get that name, you might ask? I'm glad you did ask. Because Roach was the last name of the lead singer's grandfather who ended up raising him as a dad. So when Jacoby got old enough to form Papa Roach, he formed him in memory of his grandfather. He named the group Papa Roach. They're a rock band out of Vacaville, California. I know I didn't pronounce the city right. They formed in 93. I found out about them in 2000 with Last Resort. And that's when I was really starting to get into that hard rock, non-country type. Because back in the 90s, I was all 90s country. That's all I would listen to. And then I broke out, and that's when Matchbox 20, I started listening to Matchbox, who I listened to a little bit in the 90s, but didn't really form and really listen until the 2000s. But always followed Matchbox. But this is 2000s when I got into the Linkin Park, the Nickelback, the harder rock. So their debut album was, we're going to take a look here. Can't remember what the name of the debut was. I'll get back to you on that. But they've had 11 studio albums, 38 singles, 52 music videos, 2 compilation albums, and they're the greatest hits, and it's greatest hits 1 and 2. So their debut album was Old Friends from Young Years in 97, but they didn't really hit it big until Infest in 2000. And that's where Last Resort came from. And that's when I got to know them. That was their mainstream album, was Infest. So you could pretty much say that was the debut. But anyway, they've had one live album. They're working on their 12th studio album. My favorites are the 2 greatest hits. Now, you listen to the greatest hits and you can hear a change in their music. Because, and I'll tell you why. That second greatest hits has a lot of inspirational, uplifting music on it. Like, talking about winning, talking about just being yourself, being who you are. And I contribute that to the lead singer, Jacoby Shaddix, who became a born-again Christian. And actually it's been rumored from his bandmates that before every show, you can hear him singing hymns at public events. It says Shaddix is a devout Christian and has been known to sing Christian hymns and songs at public events. Now, you can listen to it and listen to Papa Roach and be like, well, he's not a Christian. Well, I believe he is, because you listen to that first greatest hits and you listen to their earlier stuff compared to now, where you've got songs like Leave a Light On. And, they wrote that song for Chris Cornell and Chester Bennington, who passed away in 2017. And just having songs like that out there as uplifting and inspirational is just amazing. I like Papa Roach. They're one of my favorite hard rock bands. And for what song we're listening to, I want you guys to go out and listen to their 2 greatest hits albums. Like I said last week with Garth Brooks, with these albums, you can just put them on and, play games on your phone, or, be on the computer scrolling and listen to them. But listen to the lyrics and the songs on the 2nd greatest hits, because they are definitely something. So that's all I've got for this week. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I thought I had some more news, but I don't. Oh, I do. Before I forget, we need to talk about Wimbledon a little bit. The number 4 seed, Jack Darby, and number 13 seeds both fall in 4 sets in the men's, and we've had women's top earners be eliminated. So Wimbledon's going on, so please go check out Wimbledon. If you guys are tennis fans, who are y'all's favorite tennis players? I tend to gravitate more toward like Djokovic and Rafael Nadal, even though they're the old timers. I still, pull for them, even though I think Rafael Nadal's retired now, but Djokovic is still playing. And I know he's got a cocky demeanor, but he's still good. So drop in the comments what you guys think of Wimbledon and tennis, and what you guys think of the show this week. But that's all I've got. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys have a great weekend. Have a wonderful 4th of July. Happy birthday, America. And I will be back next week. God bless.